Original wall coverings were thought to have been from the Middle Ages, when tapestries were used for both beauty as well as a form of insulation. These elegant tapestries were very expensive and only the elite could afford to have them in their home. For this reason, wallpapers were invented to imitate tapestries in a manner that was affordable to the public. Because wallpapers can offer designs that can't easily or affordably be painted onto walls, it's easy to see why they have remained popular. As popularity grew, much of the industry looked at ways to escalate profit margins, which led to some common problems.
Really, people have been decorating walls and perimeter space since the very beginning of time. You see wall decoration and wall embellishment that dates back to the cave days. But the real game changer in wall covering was really the printing press. So wall covering is really technologically reflective. So it's an ongoing process, it's never changed. Well, in the 1980s, the industry really was suffering, and it was suffering as a result of its own choices. I think that companies tended to really downscale the product to the point where it made it frustrating for people to use it. People that moved into apartments and had to take old wallpaper off made the decision, I'll never put it up again. The face material and the backing materials weren't necessarily compatible. They would often adhere vinyl face material to paper backing, and the two would delaminate. The adhesives weren't compatible with those particular materials. You would get bubbling, you would get bad seam effects, there were patterns you couldn't line up. But those have really been addressed.
It was this lesser quality substrate that led to some of the most common misconceptions about wall coverings.
Lesser quality product, it's the old adage, you get what you pay for. A lesser quality product is self-evident. It shows. It installs poorly, it doesn't look good, and it doesn't work right. You'll know an inferior product when you see it, and you'll know it almost immediately. You'll know it by the difficulty of the installation, and it's just not going to work. Wallpaper is not rocket science. It's dead simple. It's great adhesive, great substrate, and great pattern and great material.
It's important to know what you are looking for when selecting wall coverings.
Good design isn't really how it looks, it's how it works. And so you deal with a manufacturer that you can tell that they've paid the attention to how it works. And you're not intimidated to go through the steps to do it yourself or hire a professional to do it. It's pretty self-evident, but you got to do your homework. What the wallpaper has to make you do is want you to use it and not be intimidated by it. And to me, that reflects the thought that the company put into it. And that'll come through in the quality.
Most top designers are utilizing wall coverings because of their beauty, but there are other benefits as well.
Wall coverings can have a really dramatic impact, and I love that the flair and the trend of wall covering is coming back. You can change the mood of a room almost instantaneously with wall covering. You can use pattern to make a really dramatic statement, or you can use texture to support the design elements of a room. So it's really a matter, one of the effects that wall covering does is it dissolves perimeter space. It really makes the wall sort of secondary and not primary. And so you can make a small space huge, you can make a big space more intimate. So wall covering has all kinds of effects that it can achieve. The difference between what paint can bring and what wall covering can bring, they don't exist in a vacuum. They really exist together. They exist in a compatible relationship, but I think the effect that wall covering has is different than paint, and it really is an individual choice.
One of the greatest aspects of the wall covering industry today is the sheer volume of options it provides the consumer.
You can date your home or you can make your home timeless. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve with the design. Wall coverings, wallpaper can be fashionable and they can be timeless. I always say that design goes in circles. It's not a straight line. You see things occur in fashion and trend and style all the time, and wallpaper is just a reflection of that. You see things come back again and again and again. So my particular taste would run going toward the classics that I know are going to last for a long time, but a lot of younger people, people with families, really want to make a statement. They want to mark time. Again, the combinations are really endless. You have substrate materials such as traditional high quality manufactured papers. You have manufactured vinyls, you have paper-thin wood veneers, you have grass cloths, you have leather, synthetics, all kinds of different materials. So it's really just a matter of what's out there and how it's being applied and how it's being used.
Possibly the most appealing aspect of choosing the right wall covering is that you are not locked in. As styles change, you have the ability to drastically change the look and feel of your home without killing yourself doing it.
Switching out a wall covering is the same thing as fashion. It's how you feel. Wall covering has a very emotional connection to people. It sets a mood. And so it's really about, if you look at your wallpaper, do you love it or not? You know? I mean, Oscar Wilde said either the wallpaper goes or I do, and then he died. It's really a matter of taste. It's fashion, it's style, it's design.